Now, we have a wonderful guest today, along with illustrator Junli Song. They are both an award-winning pair. You may know their books already. The first that they did together was a wonderful book called Cherry Moon. That was followed by When Poems Fall from the Sky. And this year, just very recently, they're back with their third beautiful book, mesmerizingly beautiful, in fact, I Hear the Trees. Please welcome to Mr Dilly Meets National Poetry Day 2025 special, the wonder that is Zaro Weil. Here we go, Zaro, back on the show again. Lovely to have you. How are you?
Oh, look, Mr. Dilly. Look at that. I broke my arm, but it's all getting better. And then someone made this beautiful, wait a minute.
Look at that. That's a great drawing. Who did the drawing?
It's a friend who lives in my little village in France, looked at the book and she tried to make it like the book cover.
Look at that. You're actually walking around with art on you, which is great. Well, I hope you're healing up well, Zaro. And
it's healing really well, and it doesn't hurt. And I am so happy and thrilled to be back here and seeing you and seeing all the kids out there. It just fills my heart with absolute gladness.
Well, the thing is, and this is the thing, your poetry couldn't be more perfect for the National Poetry Day theme this year of play. Before we're going to kind of get a taster of your poems and get the children watching and the teachers, involved in the show today, just a couple of questions for you, just a bit about your poetry and thinking about the theme of play as well. As I said, your poetry is very, very playful itself. And for anyone who's read Zaro's poetry, and if you're not, then read some after the show, it's like the actual poem is talking directly to you, directly to the reader, in that for young people, for children watching whom may have written or may go on to write their own poetry after today's show, how important do you think it is for them to write something that feels very personal to them, but also connects to the feelings and experiences perhaps we all share? So something that's personal, but also, I guess, sort of universal. How important is that, do you think?
I think that is absolutely key, because I always think it's a funny thing when you're thinking about something or you feel a special way. Maybe you're happy, maybe you're a little worried, maybe you're confused, or maybe you're sad. Whatever is going through your heart and mind at one time, you just know that some other people are feeling the exact same thing. And when you're writing a poem or putting words together, it's that sense of, it's not just you, you're not alone, you're with the rest of the world in many, many ways. So, and has a really good name. It's called empathy. It's what you're feeling, and it's taking on the understandings and the feelings of other people. So when you write poetry, it's really wonderful to write how you feel, because when you really go down to examine how you feel and what you think and how much fun you want to have, you know you're going to be talking to other people. It's just part of our human experience that we share with each other.
And that's the wonder of poems, isn't it? I mean, do you think that for children who may write their poems, that they should then write with the reader in mind, or is it just enough to write from their own heart and just let that connection kind of happen naturally? What do you think?
I think the reader is always in our minds. Other people are always in our minds, which is why we write, because we want to share something that's really important to us. So you write from the heart, and the further you can go inside your heart, and the further you can find the really cool words to use to express how you're feeling, the more people will be able to connect with you. And so just follow your heart, and the rest falls into place, really.
I think that's very, very good advice there. So a little bit of advice for you there to start with on your poetry journey this week and across the year. Now, as I said, Poetry Day theme this year is play. Great theme, I think, for this year's event as well. Poetry, for me, in the way I read, especially reading something like your poetry, for example, is very much like playing with words and having fun with words and language and stuff. Can you sort of expand on that a little bit in terms of the way that you use that in your own poetry to sort of bring alive that sense of play and joy and stuff like that?
Well, I think that's a really good question. And I love the theme of this year's National Poetry Day. And it really is about play. And play comes naturally to all of us. It comes naturally to children. It's how we learn. And poetry is where words go to play. And if you take all these words and they go shaking and jumping all around, and you turn them upside down and sideways and they go flying out, they're going to wind up as something a little bit different from what they started out as. So maybe you shake some words out. Maybe you shake up the words moon and button and silver, and all of a sudden, when they land, it's the moon is a silver button. Maybe you shake up wind and whisper and secrets, and maybe you have the wind is whispering secrets, or a puddle is an ocean. So words can play, and words can create new images, new ideas, new thoughts, and new feelings. And play is how poetry really breathes. And you use rhyme and rhythm and words that sound good together, and you come up with something, and you kind of, believe it or not, you invent a new world. It's a world, and you can invent that world over and over again any way you can. And it's a wonderful way of beginning to understand things around you, is by playing with it, playing with words, playing with images, playing with ideas.
Is this how you kind of approach your poetry? And if so, in your wonderful, I have the copy of the book here, so I hear the trees. Have you got a couple of examples from the book? You can give us a couple of examples of that sort of play, and maybe for the children watching and the teachers, ideas of how to do that, whether it's, I don't know, repetition of stuff, or having the voice of a different character or an object speaking in your poem. Any ideas you can give the children watching?
Yeah, well, there's one I think that might just pinpoint it a little more clearly, and it's called "How Do the Flowers Dance?" Now think a bit about it. William Wordsworth thought about it. His daffodils danced all over the place and all over the hill. So, how do the flowers dance? In a joy shake of dazzle and flutter fun razzle. How do the clouds play? In a sky game of puffs and frilly white ruffs. Last one. How does the sea sing? In a great swell of blues and rolling loud hues. So that was playing with words and making up some double words, and using things that sound good together. And anyhow, that's one idea of how words can play and create new images.
Now we're gonna and this is the thing. So today's show, that everyone watching, there's quite a lot of interactive stuff with today's show. We've got the draw lines, but there's a few things Sarah and I are going to do together, and also you can join in your classroom. So this is going to be a bit of mayhem for all of us watching. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to one of the poems from I Hear the Trees, Zara and Junli's new book together, and we're going to put words on the screen of one of the poems called "I Love You." It's a very short poem, "I Love You," and we're just going to, myself and Zara are first going to alternate, which means we're going to take turns reading each line, and then it's going to lead into something that we're all going to try and do at the same time across the country. And it's going to be chaos, but it'll be fun. Okay?
Oh, so Mr. Dilly, can we play with how we sound the words? Like if there's like could mountain have a big voice and something else have a little voice? And
well, see, Zara's just snuck that on me. Now I've got to perform. You never said that when we were talking about it. No. See what you do. You have live guests on the show, and they demand. I know. Okay, no, so right. So for everyone watching, so we're going to put the slide on the screen, and myself and Zaro, in all sorts of voices, are going to alternate one line each. Zara's going to start off here with the first.
You don't mind, Mr.
And then we're going to have a go at talking to you how you can do your own in your classroom. We'll explain that in just a minute. Okay, so let us just read this so you get an idea of playing with words and playing with poetry. So here's the poem, "I Love You." Here we go. So Zaro, you're going to kick off. Right, here we go.
I love you. I love you, says the bug to the moss.
I love you, says the moss to the rock.
I love you, says the rock to the mountain.
I love you, says the mountain to the sky.
I love you, says the sky to the sun.
I love you, says the sun to the moon.
I love you, says the moon to the sea.
I love you, says the sea to the earth.
As earth says, I love you to everyone.
Brilliant. Look at that. Fantastic. I think we did well, Kit. Can you give us a round of applause? We're going to give ourselves a round. Let's give us a round of applause. Because, I mean, we're just straight up there. Straight up for everybody. Okay, so now.
We made that up on the spot.
That was pretty good. Okay, now, what we're going to, I'll quickly ask you to do, and then Zara's going to explain. If you can just get into pairs in your classroom, okay? So that's the person right next to you. Just get into pairs. Very, very simple. What are they going to do? Are they going to try and do the same thing, and we're going to make up one ourselves? Is that right? At the same time, what are they going to do?
Because the poem's all about how things in the world are interconnected.
Okay. So
you can have a bug talking to an insect talking to the wind you can do it from a shoe talking to a stone, the stone talking to a piece of grass weed. You can just make up anything.
Okay, so this one. So the key is, I think, is that say you have say a shoe talking to the grass. So that's your first line. I love you, says the shoe to the grass. The next line will then be go, I love you, says the grass, taking the last word of the sentence before, the grass to the mud, for example. I love you, says the mud to the, I don't know, whatever it is. So you get the idea. Now we're going to try and do, don't worry about this. It's just a bit of fun. So face your partner in your classroom. Okay, and Zara's going to start again. Okay, and you can do silly voices if you want, if it makes it more fun, and if you're not, don't worry about trying to get any voices right and stuff. Just have fun with it. You're going to try and do 5 lines each. Okay, 5 lines each. So the person starts it off, and then backwards and forwards, 1 line each. Okay, we give you a countdown. We go 1, 2, 3, and on that countdown, we're going to do it at the same time, and all of you in your class, in your pairs, right across the country, we're all going to do it also at the same time. Just it's going to be a load of babble, a complete racket, but a lot of fun of how we play with words. Okay,
so make sure you tell them we haven't rehearsed this.
We haven't rehearsed this. I have no idea. I mean, like Zara just threw on me doing those voices. And now we've got this to do as well. The demands. Anyway, listen. Okay, so Zara's going to start off with something, and then we're going to do it. We're going to try and do 10 lines each. If it ends up being 7 or 12 lines, don't worry about it. Have fun. Play with the words. Here we go. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Zara's going to start, and you all start in your classrooms at the same time. Here we go. Ready? Zara, are you ready?
I am.
Everybody watching, are you ready? Shout big yes. Can't hear you.
Yep.
Big yes. Very, very good. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. So all together. 1, 2, 3. Off you go.
I love you, says the marker pen to the whiteboard.
I love you, said the whiteboard to the hand.
I love you, says the hand to the elbow.
I love you, said the elbow to the t-shirt.
I love you, says the t-shirt to the logo.
I love you, said the logo to the packet.
I love you, says the packet to the cardboard.
I love you, said the cardboard to the water.
I love you, says the water to the mud.
I love you, says the mud to the boot.
I love you, says the boot to the other boot.
And I love you too, and so does everyone. You see? Look at that. That's a professional poet and me. Hope you all had fun with that in your classrooms. It's very, very funny. And of course, you can do that across the day, just making up these kind of I love you thing poems. What else could they do as prompts for teachers in the classroom? Does it have to be I love you? What could they do?
Well, I hear you. I hear you, says the butterfly to the pollen. I love you, says the pollen. You can do it too. I hear you. I remember you.
Remember you is good. I see you. I see you. It could be anything. Yeah.
I hear you, says the sky to the wind. I hear you. I hear you. You could do I see you. I smell you. That's a fun one. Everyone's going to love that.
The kids, you now know all the kids are going to be doing I smell you. You know, and various things are going to creep in there. We know that, children. We know that. Okay, so that's fantastic. So that's really, really good. So have fun with that in your classrooms afterwards, and just make up those kind of poems. As I said, they don't have to be 10 sentences long. I think ours was probably 8 or something. And they don't have to end that way, like Zara's I love you as well. But just give you a quick idea. I'll just flash up I love you again, just so you can have a quick look at it again in your classroom. So that's the original. You've got the 10 lines there beginning with I love you. And then at the end, it says, as Earth says, I love you to everyone. You can end it like that, or you can end it with anything of your choice, and just have fun and play with the words for that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're going to go to another poem from I Hear the Trees, and Zara's just going to read this out for us, and we're going to have the words on the screen so you can follow along with it and just get a sense of just how Zaro plays with words and language in her own poems, and how you can do the same in your classroom. So I'll hand over to you, Zaro, for, well, you can introduce it. Here we go.
Now, this is a funny one because I love double words like wowie, zowie, gung ho, ding dong. Well, ring-a-ling is 3, but I made all these lists, and I got my kids to help me make lists of double words. Then I thought it would be totally fun to put all the double words into a poem, and I thought I'd call it wowie, zowie. So what I'd love you to do is to count down all the double or triple words that you hear, like ding dong, ring-a-ling, or that kind of thing. Also, it starts out wowie zowie, tall tree, I love you. So your detective job is to figure out who in the world is talking to tall tree. Who would be telling tall tree how much it's loved? All right. Okay, here we go. Wowie zowie. Wowie zowie, tall tree, I love you. I gung-ho, ding-dong, ring-a-ling, love you. More than any other flim-flam, hurly-burly creature in the whole round earth, giant universe, or razzle-dazzle cosmos loves you. After all, tall tree, nobody else thinks about me like you do. Nobody else, tall tree, that very, very high up, bothers to make it so easy peasy for me to eat their hunky-dory leaves, bobbly berries, or tutti-frutti treats during the sunbeamy day or moon-cheery night. So thanks, Tippy Tall Tree. See, with you, I don't have to teeter-totter, bend way over to find bits of yums on the ground. Instead, I'm super duper hip hop cool, and my loosey goosey long neck doesn't have to get so wishy washy tired going flip flop, whirly twirl, up and down, up and down, up and down all the dilly dally time. So no matter how you say it, spell it, think it, I slap happy, fancy free, tee-hee, silly Billy, love you. There. Now everybody knows tall giraffe loves tall tree. Okay, bye for now, giraffe. Oh, P.S. Please don't worry, tree. I would never, ever nibble even one lovey-dovey little heart on your topsy-tall, barky, beautiful trunk.
There we go. So it is the person who says I love you, or
It's giraffe with a
long.
long.
Is it giraffe? It's a giraffe. But that's a beautiful poem there. Thanks very much. So once again, you can see from that just the play you can have and the fun you can have. Not just making it your own character talking about it, but you can do it from the like an animal or an object speaking to another object. So we've had a go of that in the last poem. And there's an animal speaking to a tree in that particular poem. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to have our first draw-along in a moment. The draw-along is actually of a cat from Junli, and this cat features in I Hear the Trees as well. Let's have a little picture of the cat, and then you can just tell us a little bit about this cat and what poem it's from in your book before we go into the draw-along. So here's the cat here at Zaro. Who is this cat?
Oh, the cat is a beautiful cat named Bob. And Bob died last year. And Bob was in the bookshop window of this really wonderful bookshop called the Q Bookshop.
There it is.
In Richmond. And I really love Bob the cat. And Bob and the owners of the bookshop love Bob. He was really kind of a bookseller cat, taking care of everything. So I wrote a poem all about Bob the cat so he could be remembered forever as a protector of Q Bookshop.
And that's it. And the poem in there was called The Cat Couldn't Help It. Is that correct?
Cat couldn't help it. Cat couldn't help it.
So if you get a copy of the book, you can read the poem. I'm going to say goodbye to Zaro briefly now. I'm going to introduce you to Junli, who's got our pre-recorded draw-along for you as well. And then after that, we're back with Zaro for more fun, more retroactive fun, more play, more poems. So Zaro, say goodbye for a minute and we're speaking just a second. So thank you very much. So Zaro, so get your bits of paper ready. As I said, now this draw along is quite long. It's about 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, 6 minutes or so for the draw along. Some of the draw along, it's beautiful draw along, is sped up, especially the colouring in part. So you may not get a chance to do all that in class today. But as this is recorded and you can stop and pause at your own time, after the whole stream, you can go back and your teacher can pause it wherever they like in order for you to catch up in class and complete your whole drawing. So try and make a start today. If you haven't got the right colours, don't worry about it. Have fun, just play. If you haven't got the right pastels or pencils, whatever you've got there, just work with what you've got and have fun with this. Okay, so this is Junli Song with her cat draw along, and then we're back with Zaro after that. Okay, so enjoy.
I've decided to draw a stretching cat. So when cats get all long and their paws go out, and they curl their toes. I just think it's a really fun posture for a cat. So I'm going to start with sort of this sweep of the back down, and also maybe I'll put its tail in right away. There we go. And then its head is all down low, right? Because it's doing this big stretch. It's going to do some rough little shapes first. And then I really want to get this feeling of its paws stretching out. I'm going to make this really long. And when you're drawing, you don't always have to do exactly what you see in the world, right? It can be really fun, I think, to imagine a little, right? You can sort of exaggerate to better capture the feeling of something, right? So even if a cat might not always be quite as long as I just drew, I think it's all right that mine is. And so you should feel really comfortable to make your own kind of cat. I think that's part of the fun of being an artist. It's that things might not exist that way in the world, but they could exist that way in your artwork, right? And so it gives you a lot of power if you think about it. So, cats don't yawn, or at least not like this, but I'm going to let my cat yawn like this, because I think maybe this kitty is a little tired, and that's why it's doing this huge big stretch. There's a little back paw. There we go. Maybe squeezed its tail a little tight to the top here, so I'm gonna curl it. I think this could be even a little more dramatic, so I'm just gonna adjust that. Okay. So there's the basic cat, and then I'm going to give it these cute little stripies. So I think I'll first just give the cat a little bit of color everywhere. So I'm going to use some crayons for that. It's a little too orangey for me. I'm going to use this nice little earthy color. So I'm just going to do a little bit of color all over. So you'll notice I'm going a little bit messy, and that's because I think I'm going to use more than one color. And so I want to leave all these little kind of openings so that when I go in with this other color, you'll see it peeping through. So there's one color. And then I'm actually going to take that orange I didn't want before, because now I think it'll be just right when it's mixed in with this other color. And then now, I want to give this kitty some stripes. So, is there ever purple in a real cat? Maybe not. But again, this is my drawing, so I'm going to put some purple in my cat. I'm going to go in with a pencil for the face, Just because even though I love those crayons, it is very hard to get tiny marks with them, right? Because they're so chunky. Of course, you need a stripy tail. Now, I'm just going in with a bit more pencil. Just to give, a little bit more fine detail. Well, so to finish this off, the thing that's missing is, of course, whiskers, right? So we're gonna end here with some fabulous whiskers. And don't forget their little eyebrow whiskers. There you go. And there's a sleepy, stretchy cat.
Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. As I said, you can go back and rewatch that and pause at those difficult bits as you go along. Amazing drawing. You get really an idea of how Junli illustrates his books, and they truly are a magical pair, Zaro and Junli, in terms of their words and illustration. So if you haven't got a copy of this book or any of the books, do get them and have a look through. Beautiful, beautiful books indeed. Very inspiring and perfect for the play theme on National Poetry Day this year. So let's welcome back for some more interactive fun. Zaro, here we go, Zaro. So we're back after that draw along from your book.
She's so great, isn't she? Junli is so great.
Incredible.
I love her.
Absolutely beautiful. And as I said, your poems and her art are just a magical combination. So let's go back to your poems. As it's time for, and all the children will be going, what? But it's time for some bamboozled berries. Oh yeah, bamboozled berries are coming up. Now, so with this, explain what's going to happen. We're going to put this poem on the screen, and what the children got to do.
Well, this is a big job, kids. I'd like you to figure out how many well, I'll tell you, it's all B's. Everything was B. I made all the B words I could think of to put in this poem. So your job is to figure out how many B's are in this poem. I don't mean bumblebees, I mean the letter B. Okay?
Okay. So what's going to happen in a minute? We're going to put the once again, if you're in pairs from earlier for the I love you bit, just stay in those pairs. It might be easier if you try and guess it together, and then you can compare numbers at the end. Okay. So what you can do is we put the poem up. Zara's going to read the poem. Okay. There's 2 slides and lots of B's in that. And in your pairs, try and count the number of B's. That's including the B's in the title of the poem as well. Okay, so include the B's in the title of the poem. And then at the end, okay, we're going to give you a few seconds. And on the bit of paper in front of you, write down the number of B's that you think are in the poem at the end. Okay, then we're going to do a countdown. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 at the end. And you all hold them up in the air so your teacher can see them all. Okay, and the pair that gets either the exact number or the closest in your class wins. You don't win anything. You just win, a big cheer and a clap in your class. Is that right, Zara? Does that sound good?
I'd be so impressed. And by the way, if everyone thinks about Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, it uses the same idea. It's called alliteration, when the first sounds of the consonants sound the same thing.
Okay, so there we go. So get ready. We're going to put the slide on. Zara's going to read it and get counting those B's. And at the end, remember, talk to your partner about it and write down the number you agree on. And then we do the countdown, you put them up, and we see who wins. Okay, so let me hand over to Zara for that. So here we go. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Yeah, coming up, remember, count the B's in the title of the poem as well. Here we go. Bamboozled berries. Over to Zara. Here we go.
Bamboozled berries. The blossomest blossoms, the buddingest buds burst from branches of the brilliant bush. Oh, they were blue buttes, bunches of bounteous berries brimming blazing bright balls beneath a blowy bonanza of balmy breezes. But beware, Babbling, bold-faced birds, bemused by the bounty of the beauteous bluey berries, have a brainstorm, and billowing below in a blaring blast of bombastic bird banter, brazenly begin to besiege the berries, and with a breathtaking, big, bold, beaky birdie binge, get busy, busy, busy in a brisk, blissful barrage of bite, bite, bite. Oh, bother, 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 bemoan the bewildered, befuddled, baffled, bitten, bedraggled, and thoroughly bamboozled berries. How balefully bleak, how bitterly beastly. Oh, things would have been bloomin' bloody better by the blinkin' bunch if only we had been born bumpy, brainy bits of blah, 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 bland old, boring old broccoli.
Okay, that's a lot of bees. Okay, right. Now, Zaro and I, before the show today, weren't quite sure of the number, and luckily we got the same number. So let's see how you get on in your classroom. So write down that number. Make sure you got it all there ready. Okay. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. That's when you hold them up. Okay. Your teacher, make sure your teacher can see them all in your classroom. Okay. And then Zaro will reveal the number of bees, and then we're going to see which one of your classroom either gets it right. Maybe a few you get it right, or the one that has the closest. Okay. And it's up to you in your classroom if you win anything or just get a big round of applause. Okay. So get ready. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to hold them all up. Okay. So ready? Classrooms. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Right. And Zaro's going to reveal how many bees are there, Zaro, in Bamboozled berries. The number is?
Well, Mr. Dilly, there are 98 bees.
98 bees. Anybody get close to that? Oh, did you get close? Did you get close? Did anyone get it? 98 bees. Okay, that's a lot of bees. We should give them a round of applause anyway, even if they didn't get it.
Good counting. Good counting.
That's quite a serious break. So a little bit of fun there for Bamboozled berries. Once again, playing with words, playing with language, playing with alliteration, as Zaro said, the sort of repetition of sounds and words in there. Could the teachers or the classroom sort of carry on with their own versions of these after the show? Could they use different letters? How could they do that? Maybe writing stuff on the whiteboard or something like that.
P is a good word. In fact, I did one in Cherry Moon called Preposterous Penguins. But I think you could come up with all kinds of fun ideas. P's and B's are good. They have a lot of words. Anyhow, it's so much fun to do, and you can dream up any kind of thing.
So what they could do, the teacher could go up there, the class could call out a load of words beginning with P or loads of words beginning with B,
and write them all on the board, and then everyone can make up a different poem based on those B words or P words or any other words, any other consonants.
Oh, I like that. That's a great idea. I'd love to have heard some of these poems. I bet there's some great stuff. Now,
there will be.
Yeah, there will be some good stuff. Now, we're going to go to something a little bit different in a minute. In Zaro's I Hear the Trees, there is a fantastic poem. It's called Directions to the Next Universe. Tell us what this poem is about, Zaro, Directions to the Next Universe. It's kind of explanatory in the title, but explain how you came up with it and what it's about.
And I love reading about it. And I was reading about all the galaxies, and I thought, wouldn't the galaxies make a wonderful poem? And then I wrote the poem all about going to how to get to the next galaxy. So it's a little bit fantastic, a little bit ridiculous, but loads of fun with good directions. And it's a travel site that you go to get directions to the next universe. Fantastic. And I had asked Mr. Dilly if he would read it, because I think he'd be really fun at reading this poem.
Well, Zaro, I hope so. So what I did is, instead of doing it live, I made a little video. Yeah, I made a little video of Directions to the Next Universe, and I'm reading it on the video. Directions to the next universe. 1. Find a good seat in your starship and fire each rocket in the correct sequence towards the Milky Way, making sure to avoid dizzying pulsars and troublesome grains of cosmic dust. 2. Follow the very next cloud of nebula to the inner planets, which are within the asteroid belt, Mercury, Venus, Mars. 3. From there, take an elliptical orbit to the outer planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Don't be fooled by the many slow-turning satellites launched from a multitude of global Earth stations. They are not real stars. 4. Now carefully navigate your way through great swathes of real shooting stars. You might want to stop occasionally for a photo as bright burning meteorites fall like dazzling fireworks into Earth's atmosphere. 5. When you eventually arrive at the dark Kuiper belt, remember to dress up warm and then thoughtfully steer your craft through the thousands of wild flying comets, asteroids, and various bits of space junk. 6. Take a short break, if you wish, at one of the many star constellations. Following the directions provided, adjust your instruments to chart the next step, which will take you safely past a sea of great black hole quasars. Be extremely diligent during this phase. The last thing in the world you would want is to tumble into one of these hungry holes that lead to nowhere and where you would be trapped for a very long time. Forever, in fact. 7. It is only now that you can relax a bit, as you find yourself floating through numerous starbursts in new galaxies. Of course, if you glance back through your rear window, it will become apparent that your home, planet Earth, with its great blue and white swirls, is light years away. You might enjoy watching its slow rotation, and if you are extremely observant, you will also see its moon, the familiar one you see most nights, travelling its very own special orbit around Earth. 8. At this point, if cosmic luck is on your side, you might even hurtle past a fabulous supernova, exploding into a luminous stellar bang. 9. At last, you will arrive at the Andromeda Galaxy, which is only 2.2 million light years from Earth. It is so bright here that probably your family and friends might be able to spot you, even without a telescope, and perhaps wave. 10. If you decide to continue, you must adjust all instruments to guide you safely to the next spiraling triangulum galaxy. 11. Of course, if you wish to return to your mother planet at this stage, you could definitely be there for dinner. Just rotate your time belt, adjust your coordinates to Earth, and set your wavelengths correctly. 12. When you are ready to time space travel, remember to tap the quark star, which will ignite all the nuclear particles you require for a safe flight home. 13. Finally, should you wish to return to continue your galactic explorations tomorrow, or even the day after, it is always possible to ask a passing astronaut for a lift. But you must take care to make sure your anti-gravitational power is fully activated and switched on. Hope you have a very pleasant and exciting flight. Please feel free to like this travel site. We already have an astronomical number of likes, and your like can make all the difference. Okay.
Wow.
Hope you enjoyed that.
That was amazing. I was transported.
I hope you enjoyed that. I think what's wonderful about that is also you know, I think for a lot of us, maybe some of the children watching, maybe some of the teachers watching, we have sort of an idea what poetry is, and then you can sort of see that kind of, like a lot of stuff in your book, it kind of throws it to somewhere else and takes it somewhere else in what you do with it. So just thinking about that poem, for example, any other ideas that the teachers or the children can have, or maybe sort of directions to their own kind of thing, or anything else like that? What could
That's
they do?
a great idea. Absolutely. You can do directions to the center of the earth,
Oh yeah,
directions to the best apple in the land.
anything, couldn't you?
You could do anything, and you could make it like a website where they give directions, and you could make it really interesting and really funny. Directions to the longest worm in the world.
Oh, I love this. Is great. So come up with ideas in a class. Once again, if you can't come up with your own, it might be brilliant if the class just brainstorms all sorts of things. And even from the brainstorm, there might be other ideas you then get from everyone brainstorming on the whiteboard together to come up with your own directions too, which would be really, really interesting. You could even, depending on what you got in your class, maybe this is a project, make your own little videos of doing it. Who knows? Your own directions too. You could have fun with that. So that's another idea there. We're going to move on with a bit more fun and another poem, and then after that we're going to go into our second draw along from Junli. So this is another poem from I Hear the Trees, another way to play around with words and language. It's called Howl. Tell us a little bit about this poem, Zaro, and what the children have got to do to join in with this poem. So I'll hand over to you for that. Here we go.
This is a poem about a mother wolf giving advice to her little cub who was just born. And she's telling the cub how to learn how to howl, because that's what wolves like to do. And it's very important for them to howl. So I put myself in the position of the mother, and I like this one a lot. And it would be great if you could help with this one, if you could help do some of the howling with me. It starts out with 3 kinds of howls. That goes.
Shall I put these up? Shall I put the words up on the screen? Would that be
yeah,
easy?
that would be great.
Words up, and then you can see the howls that Zaro is referring to. Here we go.
So it starts ai, ai. The next line is wee, wee, and the bottom line is ooh, ooh. And I thought that if you could howl really high, ai, ai, and the next one kind of medium voice, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, and the next one really low, ooh, ooh. If you could do that at the beginning and end of the poem. The other thing I thought is if the wolf is howling, they have their arm up in the air. And so, can you see on here?
Yeah.
So if you're doing your high howl, you go, so here's your tail. I can't do it with this arm.
No, Zaro, just to say, Zaro didn't say that's actually how she did her arm, and she got very carried away with doing some wolf howls.
I was doing wolf howls.
It wasn't. Okay, yeah, go, Zaro, carry on, yeah.
So, ai, ai, wee, wee, ooh, ooh.
So bring the arm down as you're doing it.
So you bring the arm down, each one a little bit.
Okay.
And it's very simple, and it would really help get this poem across, because for me, this is a very poignant poem, and that means it's a poem that it touches my heart, and I wanted to touch people's heart because it's about how wolves see things in the world and how a mother gives advice, especially at the end when she's going to be dying, and it's just the baby carrying on. So it's about life and death a little bit. So it's quite profound.
Okay, and also to have fun with the bit Sarah said, do if you can get your voice higher, do it higher. If you can get it lower, do it lower. Okay, so you can do it as high or low as you want, and sort of middle as we go along. So we're going to put the poem up. Zara's going to introduce it and then join in with those sounds as we do it. Okay, Zara. So I'll hand over to you. Here we go. So here we go.
Howl. Ai, ai, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh, ooh. Howl, little cub, howl, don't hold back. Flash those polished amber eyes of yours. Howl the scent of long ago. And if I teach you anything, know this newfound voice of yours calls forth the great untamed. So when you want sun to rise, night to ignite its silent sparks, clear water to swell the river, howl. And when you stand stiff-legged and tall, proud ears alert, teeth sharp-shined confronting your prey, howl. Of course, when you must fly, escaping the bear, howl fierce for earth to rise up fast to meet your lengthening legs. Then howl soft when first you meet your gray-furred partner under a moon flood of trees on a trail of sweet shadows. And how long when you smell that blue of berries growing darkly wild outside your very own den. Last thing, little cub, when your mother is no longer hunting beside you, howl full your big wolf heart for me. Aye, aye, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh, ooh.
That's really beautiful. That is. That's really touching, isn't it? It's really gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. Very sad, but also kind of beautiful at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed that, children. So what's really good, and I hope we're showing you in the poems today, is how anything you can write poems about, but also how playful you can be with it, and how you can write something really personal, something about something else that is really sad and beautiful like that you care about. Or you might have seen or experienced in some way or another, but also just having, crazy fun with all kinds of adventures with words and ideas, and nothing is off limits. So just to enjoy just expressing yourself and getting it all out there. Now we're going to go into our next draw along with Junli in a minute. We had the cat, and now we have the mouse. Okay, so this is based on a poem. I don't think we can have time to read it all out, but we'll just have a look at the quick pictures. It's based on a poem. Tell us a bit about this. 10 mice star in a poetical adventure. Just tell us a little bit about this this poem, because we've got the cat in again over this bit over here. So tell us a little bit about this poem before we go into the draw along.
Well, first thing, every stanza in the poem is actually a full haiku. A haiku is a Japanese style of poetry that uses a total of 17 syllables divided into 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and then 5 syllables. And I thought it would be fun to write an adventure just using haiku. So that's what this is. And I put an uh-oh between each one. And the uh-oh, if you read it out loud, is bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It gets louder and louder and louder and louder until at the end, uh-oh changes to ho, oh ho, and then changes to ho, ho, ho. And that's the ending.
Now, as I said, you can go back and watch this. So what we do is I'll put them up again briefly, these 3 things. And if the teachers would like to pause on these particular slides, you can go through your class with this and get louder with those uh-ohs, ho-hos as you go through it in yourself. So let me just put this up here just for a few seconds on each slide, so you can have a bit of time, teachers, to pause on those if you want to do this along in your slide. So this is the first part of 10 mice star in a poetical adventure. You can see that there, and you can see it getting gradually louder. And the second part. There we go. So I'm just giving you enough time. You can pause on that, and then you can have fun with that, making some noise and enjoying the words in your own time. Right. So we're going to go to the second Junli draw along. So Zaro, we'll say goodbye for now, and then we're back with another poem, another small activity before we close today's show today. So Zaro, goodbye for now. We're just speaking in just a moment. So here we go. So this is over to Junli. Once again, don't worry if you haven't got the right equipment. Just make sure you have a bit of paper. If you've just got a pencil, and if you want to go darker shade, just press it dark, and if you want to go lighter, just a little bit lighter. If you've got old colors, great. If you've got the wrong colors from what Junli is using, they're not wrong. Just play around, have fun with yourself. And if your drawing doesn't end up looking like Junli's, great. Just experiment and have fun with the drawing as well. It's really, really good just to let it all out and to do that and express yourself in that way. So over to Junli for that, and then we're back with Zaro after that. So enjoy this, the mice draw along from Junli Song.
I love drawing dancers, and so I'm gonna have some little dancing mice. So I'm gonna start there, right? So mice have these really kind of funny long faces, these really big round ears. I think they're very cute, but I know some people are quite scared of them. And just give this one a little smile. And maybe some happy eyes too. And so I think this little mouse is maybe dancing with another little mouse. What do you think? And so, let's see. Maybe one leg going off there. So I think they're going to be holding hands. And then, yeah, this one's having such a good time and such a good laugh. So maybe her head is thrown back like this. And she's gonna have a great big mouth. There we go. And her arms will be out. I think she'll be wearing a really fabulous little frock. And maybe kicking her feet a bit. There we go. Okay, so there's our first two little mice. And his tail and her tail. And then we can keep making other mice. So you should make a lot of mice, I think, because this is a picnic. But I don't want to make you watch me for an hour, so I'm just going to focus on these mice first. Okay, so I always love giving my animals some really fabulous outfits. So I'm giving this little guy a little button-down shirt. What do you think? Maybe you give him, there you go, little sleeves. Okay, and how about her? She's in her pretty little frock. Let's give it a collar. And maybe some puff sleeves. And it's the kind of outfit I like to wear. There we go, because they're holding hands. Okay, so I'm again gonna speed in with some crayons first. I feel like making some light purple mice. I know their faces have vanished, but I will draw them again. And then our fabulous gal here, I'm gonna give her a bit of this reddish brown. Okay, and his trousers, I'm gonna go teal. And a pretty rose-colored dress. To give this shirt some stripes. So I'm going to pick this pink pencil. It's a bit purple, isn't it? It's perfectly good. And just add this in. Okay, so just like last time, we're going to, bring some of those details into focus, right? So we really lost his little face earlier. So I was saying that he's quite happy, isn't he? Because he's dancing at this fabulous party with his friend. And he's all done up in his fabulous striped shirt. So he's having a good time. I just realized I forgot her foot. Okay. Now her face, that also got really lost. So even though these are mice and not people, their facial expressions are still really important. So you really get to tell someone without words how your character, your person is feeling, just based on what their face is doing. And maybe we'll give her a pattern too. So that it doesn't take too much time, let's just do some polka dots. Little mice having a little bit of a dance. Sorry, we ran out of time for Berry Mouse in the background, but I hope you'll make a large gathering with lots of little mice doing all kinds of things. You know, just think, what do you like to do at a picnic? And you can have your mice doing that.
Okay, fantastic. How'd you get on? A little bit longer, that one. A little bit longer. Some of it's quite difficult. I know that. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy it. And once again, teachers, you can go back and you can pause that as we go along so that your class can catch up if they weren't able to finish that drawing, whether it's the drawing or the colouring. And you can do that at your own pace across this whole week, because it's available to watch this whole week. Now, let's welcome back Zaro for the close of today's show. Okay, so fantastic to see Junli again there. And it's brilliant. Today, Zaro, it's been wonderful having you on, but we haven't finished yet because we've got a little bit more to do as we finish. Now, this next poem Zaro is going to read. We're going to see the slide. You can follow along the words, and then there's a little bit of a poetry prompt for your working class as you do after this. So, this poem is "I Choose Poetry." Explain a little bit about this poem, and then we'll put the slides up, Zaro. So, what's this poem about?
This poem is about saying that the things that strike you are important. Sometimes when you're outside your house, outside your apartment, you might be, or inside, in your bedroom, in your living room, in your kitchen, or if you're in the woods, or if you're at the beach, or if you're by a river, or if you're any place in the whole wide world, things strike you and you think, oh my gosh, look, a butterfly is landing on my hand. Or you see, maybe you see a dead bird underneath a tree and you feel really sad and you want to have a funeral for that bird. Or maybe you see a little ant carrying a great big marigold seed on its back. But whatever you happen to see is really important to you, or something happens. And in this, I had all these things that happened to me that I remembered from when I was a child that made me really stop, that were so magical. And I wanted to figure out how I could tell my friends about it. But I thought, well, maybe the best way is to make all the words really sound great together, and that I can get the best way of telling what I thought was important to tell someone else. So that's why I choose poetry. I choose poetry as the language of expression to tell what I thought was important. And that's something that when all of you are writing, what's happened in your life isn't something to say, oh, that wasn't important. It is important because you've noticed it. You've thought about it. It's yours. You own it. You own that moment. And this poem is all about making that moment really important and sharing it, because it is so magic, and you want to share the magic, and you want to share you, basically. And that's what this poem is about.
That's wonderfully spoken. That's kind of really, I'm sure it hits a lot of the children watching and the teachers in terms of how they feel and how to express how they feel. Sometimes it's difficult with words, and sometimes it's better to write it down. And poetry is a good way to do that, as Zaro just explained. So we're going to put the slides on. Zaro's going to read it through, and maybe this will give you some ideas. And then we've got a couple of little bits of prompts of how you can expand on what Zaro said after we read this. So here we go, over to Zaro for our last poem of the day. I Choose Poetry. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Dilly. These things that happen, that I'm going to write about here, really happened to me, and I chose poetry. I choose poetry. I choose poetry because a pink wind ruffles the rose by my back door, and tree-circling grackles squeak 1,000 rusty whistles, and because the beach where I grew up was clamshell crunchy, and because balloons flew wild at my 6th birthday party, and because 2 snails stretch polished fat on wet stones, and because the sky spills its blue into the sea every summer, and because clouds sometimes decide to sleep on my window, and because lavender smells as big as purple sun, and because my hug-happy dog, Clementine, died last year, and because all I want to do is tell someone about this, I need the best words I can find. So I choose poetry. And in writing these things down, I'm surprised, for I can't help but imagine poetry has chosen me, because poetry is like that. Poetry is personal.
Look at that. Wonderful there. Wonderful. Zaro, so just to expand on what you said beforehand. So for the children watching again, how could they expand on that? I choose, how could they expand on that kind of to make their own poems?
Well, they could think of things that happened when they were at home that really struck them. They could think of things that they saw outside or inside. They could think of something they heard. They could think of something that someone said to them. They could think of any kind of animals that they saw. The other day, I was driving down the road, and I live in the countryside, and I saw a big bird. I think it was a little eagle, fly up in the air with a snake dangling out of its mouth. So that could go into a poem. So those strange and things that you see, you want to say, oh my God, guess what? Guess what? I saw an eagle with blah, blah, blah. Those are the things you can put into a poem and share them. And then you hold them and have them forever as your memory. And they will never leave you for the rest of your life. You will always remember those.
So have a big or small, anything that amazes you, or just kind of, it maybe even bores you, I don't know, but all sorts of little things that's very personal to you. And just to go back to that line there, which, you know, is wonderful, is that all I want to do is to tell someone about this. I need the best words I can find, so I choose poetry. So if you've got anything that's on your mind, you're thinking about, try and get that down in the poem. And it can feel really good to sort of get it out on a bit of paper, can't it?
Oh, it can feel so good, because things don't always have to be happy, or sometimes you find something that confuses you or something that makes you angry. But all those things you can write down, those moments. You know, if you see a tree dying because there's been something bad in the earth, or it's been poisoned, you can write that down because it's upsetting. So things that upset you, that make you laugh, that make you smile, you can take all that, put it all down, and then you've got it. It's yours forever and ever.
That's what a thing to finish on. Look at that. Brilliant. Okay, brilliant thing. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed today. Zaro, as always, it's brilliant to have you with us, and thank you to Junli for the draw alongs as well. I hear the trees is out now, as a Cherry Moon is, and When Poems Form the Sky, which are their other books as well, of course. And National Poetry Day, obviously, is on Thursday. You may be watching this on National Poetry Day. You may be watching it other times of the week, whatever. I'm sure, and I hope you've enjoyed today, and it's provided lots of inspiration and fun for you all in your classrooms. But it leaves me to say thank you to my guest today, Zaro Weil, as ever. Thank you very much, Zaro. Let's all, come on, everybody. Let's give this lady a round of applause. Very, very good. Zaro, thank you so much. Any final words or thoughts you'd like to leave the children with today?
All I can say is thank you for having me, Mr. Dilly, and I thank all of you for letting me into your classrooms today. I feel really privileged and absolutely honored to be part of your life. So
Zaro,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care, Zaro. Thank you so much. So Zaro Weil there. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. So enjoy the rest of National Poetry Week, of course. You know, poetry is not just about a day or a week. You can have fun with it all year. And it's a great way, as we explored today, to play with words, with language, to really express yourself and to really make sense of things that go on all around us, however big, small, sad or happy they are as we go along. Thank you for Junli as well for the draw-alongs. It leaves me to say thank you for watching Mr Dilly Meets National Poetry Day 2025 special. My name is Mr Dilly, and it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from me. Thank you very much. Goodbye.